So the difference between Sketchy Africans and every other director, I don't want to mention them because our industry is small, so I don't want to put people on blast. But for the first time with Sketchy Africans, there was a budget for marketing. Whereas everyone else who I had approached or who I had said, I've always had this curiosity about marketing film. So the only difference between me and somebody else is that I have a willingness to do it. There's no rocket science about it because the gap is definitely there. So it's almost like looking at a puzzle and saying what piece is missing. The piece that's missing is marketing. Okay, who is doing marketing for film? Very few people. And the directors and the producers, you can hear them right now. They're overwhelmed. They're saying it's madness. Obviously, they're very involved in the creating process, which leaves very many blind spots. And marketing, like I've mentioned before, is such a crucial part because why go through all the trouble of almost, going into madness and mental states because you've not been able to market your film. The people who need to watch your film don't know about it. So the difference between me and anybody else is that I have a willingness to do it. And it's not to say I'm the only one. I know there are many other people who are willing to do marketing for film. I think even our distributors here will be able to testify for that, but I can't say that there's something very special about myself other than the fact that I'm willing to do it. And the thing about Mbaya is that because I maintained that relationship throughout the years, when the money was finally there for marketing, he remembered that there was somebody who approached me and she's interested in marketing film. She's worked for a VOD platform. She's done marketing for advertising. Why not give her the chance? Because at the very least, when it comes down to it, we're all learning. Nobody knows better than the other one. And if we allow ourselves to continue learning that way, I think that we'll be able to put our films on blast the way they should, give them that spotlight they deserve.
I was able to attend the premiere of Sketchy Africans. If you've not watched it, you're definitely missing out. And I had a couple of conversations with a couple of the actors, and part of the conversation was that they had some sort of marketing contract. And that's what I would like you to shed a bit of light on.
So for me, marketing starts with the script. So when the actors are discussing or doing their table reads, I sit in on the table read and listen out for opportunities. So if there's an opportunity for a soap product to be there, and from my Rolodex of advertising, and I know such and such a client is the brand manager for this soap, maybe they'd be interested in this opportunity. And so that is what I shared with Mbaya as far as what marketing from my point of view is concerned. From the actor's point of view, they might have had marketing contracts. I don't know what that looks like. I do know what Mbaya did was give a piece of the product to some of the actors so that they have a sense of ownership. If at all, like everyone has said here, when the film blows up beyond our borders, then they each get a piece of the pie. So that is the agreement he had with them. As to what that arrangement looked like, I'm not really sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Because I've done marketing contracts before. After production is done, there's a whole campaign beyond the film, okay? Marketing starts at scripting. You're very right, because for people to consume your content, they need to be bought into it. And the story behind the story is always what brings and draws them near, right? So there's that whole process, and then there's a process beyond. So that process beyond is the media tours, the campaigns, and all that. So that's a whole different conversation beyond the production days for the actor. So that also needs to be captured on the contract. Yes.
Okay, thank you for shedding light on that. Now let's talk about distribution. What plans do you normally have on distribution? What platforms are available for you by the time you're even reading the script all the way to us seeing the film? We've come for the premiere. It has a 5-6-day run. What are we thinking about in terms of distribution? And I think I'll start with Fakii.
No wonder I introduced myself as an upcoming producer. The reason I say that is because I may not have as deep answers as they have. When I did my first film, I had this dream of going into theater, selling my first film in theater. And I really wanted to do that and get into what kind of numbers you can do in theater. Even when Netflix gave us an offer in late 2019, I was fighting the offer, and we crossed into 2020, and I was still fighting the offer. While I was still fighting it, COVID came and theaters closed. So I was like, okay, Netflix is the only is the only place to go. But I still wanted to try out theater just to know what's the strength, what are the numbers like. And I had several conversations with different people just to get an idea. As you go through your production process, you start telling yourself, like, I really want to go through the theater process to know my numbers, to know my strength. I really want to go and feel it so that I can see what I can build. But truth be told, if Netflix comes with a check, everything else is gone and I go into Netflix. The reason why I say that, I bring that specifically, is because we are now in a space where, and Denise can speak more on especially Showmax, multi-choice, but we're in a space now where Netflix has kind of like put a pause on getting content from Kenya, and for some time in terms of film, that and multi-choice Showmax have kind of been the only two clients who we have in terms of platforms. Otherwise you'd have to do either theater or go into platforms like Phillit. So I guess as of right now, it's theater, and I think he'll speak more on it. Now we also have to start having a conversation around what does it mean to be on YouTube as a distribution platform.
And I like that the conversation now is open to distribution, and I would like to hear from you, Kimani. We are in the space, the producers have created films, but at the moment they are within, let's say, the Kenyan audience. And also as an industry, there is a lot of, everyone is trying to find this one solution to distribution that is ailing the industry so bad, and you have a bit of experience and expertise in this area, in this sector. Could you expound on us what that means if to Asanda, if Makosani yangu is to approach you? What is that? What is the conversation, and what are the next steps from there?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Distribution is an interesting one, because firstly, you have to look at your art as a product. It starts from there. The same way I look at film industry is the same way a factory works to the process, from your raw materials all the way to packaging, to the shop, to the home, and the experience they get at home. That's distribution. I think that's why this forum, they called it Film is Serious Business, because everything you do in film is business. So I get this wonderful story. You know, I'm so happy Angela is in that space, because these are conversations I've been having. Look at your film is no different than any product that is being created in the world as a product, okay? Now, when you look at it as a business, which is very hard for these guys, because they are too close to it, you know? As a producer, your story is like your baby, you know? If someone says something negative about it, you can easily flip on them, you know? And many have flipped on me. I'm not a popular person, by the way. I'm not popular, because I think it is important to tell the people the truth. Because just a little bit of my background, I started film distribution in 2004. I started by going to markets where filmmakers would come. African filmmakers would congregate, and they would bring their films there, and they would literally hawk them to broadcasters, because there would be broadcasters, then the filmmakers, and those are the same guys now who land in Kenya in their own jet. I watched that guy hawk VHSs in Cape Town in those years. So the first thing is as a business. So let's look at film as a business, okay? Let's flip it. there's a reason why if you walk in to Naivas and you want to go pitch to the CEO will rarely see you. The CEO will send you to the marketing department or will send you to a GM. Do you know the reason why? It's not that they hate you. It's because they need to detach themselves. Even if it's someone you know, they need to detach themselves so that they can be able to make the right decision. That's the challenge and the opportunity that is there, so that the producers can have this person who comes in between and is able to detach themselves from the story and look at it for the business value that it has. Because when you look at value, value is not budget. We have talked about the film budgets here, but that is not the value of the film. The value of the film is right at the beginning. When the story is being done, there's a marketing plan, there's a distribution plan, which runs for 2 years. Every film has a lifespan of 2 years minimum. 2 years. Because there's a funnel. And for more of this, please attend my distribution class on Saturday, starting at 10 a.m. to wherever we finish. Until all the knowledge I have, I download. All right? That will be a deep dive. But just on the business part of it, from the conversations here, you guys should not be dying. Really, you should not be dying. Even if you're going to get someone who is either in finance, someone in strategy, someone in investment, so that they can come in between there, so that you focus on the creative part, let them chase these clients on a daily. Because I'm sure there are people you talk to once or twice, and they said, yeah, we can put some money in, but you never really followed up. Because you have a set of 50, 60 people. Everyone gets hungry, everyone wants a call, everyone wants what, you know? You just need this person here who is accountable to you. That's the difference. Who is accountable to you, so that you're able to download on them your frustrations, and their job, 7 to 7, is to go out, find money, because there is money. The advertising budget for last year was 22.4 billion in Kenya. It has fallen, man. My years, it used to be 84 billion. It came back down to 69, now it's at 22 billion. But that's 22 billion that companies spend on those adverts you see online, on TV, wherever. And out of that 22 billion, about 15 point something is actually digital. So they're opening up. They've already opened up, you know? But there's how you go to these brands. You don't go to these brands and tell them, please support us. Please no. I've done a video on that. Please. We stop asking for support. You know why? I went to a certain bank. I've been looking for money for films. I went to pitch to a certain bank. After I finished my pitch, they looked at me and they were like, so you don't want support? You don't want sponsorship? I said, no, I don't want sponsorship. I want investment, because this is an opportunity that will make money. So that threw them off. But it is because we send proposals instead of pitch decks. That's the difference. When you write a proposal and when you create a pitch deck, because a pitch deck is a business document. It has your marketing plan, it has your distribution plan, it has your finances, and from that, now there's a value that now you can put to your film. So that if you spent 8 million, from that you're able to see, does this film have legs? Meaning, can it cross Kenyatta Avenue and go to Kampala? Can it go to Zambia? Can it go to SA?
You've said that producers are very attached to the project. You tell them, hey, this project of yours, it's not going to make any money. And as you've said, you're not their friend. So what does a proper distribution contract look like? If someone received this, they should immediately say yes.
No one should immediately say yes to any contract. Okay?
Noted.
A distribution contract should be able to spell out all the rights that you own. Because right now we are only talking about streaming and cinema. Those are only two rights. But the rights you own in that one film is how you're going to make money when you're able to monetize all of them. So the distribution contract must have all your rights. And then whoever you're signing this contract with should not be at the end after you've done everything. It should be at the beginning of your film. At the point of story, that, hey, I have this fantastic story that I must do. That's the point where now you engage with a distributor. Because a good distributor will be able to look at this and tell you, this one will not make it in cinema. This one, shoot it for streaming. This will do well for streaming. Or this one can get into cinema. The reason you do it right at the beginning is because all opportunities need time. All opportunities need time to grow. All opportunities need time to be nurtured. When you take your film, you've gone and hidden in a corner somewhere and you've created your film, that's another whole story. I'll get even emotional about that one. You've gone hidden, done your film, then you come out, you come now and then you tell the cinema, hey, I have a film, I'm premiering it on April 30th. They look at you and they know that it's going to bomb, that it's going to fail. They know it. Okay? So a good distributor and the contract, they go like this. It starts at the beginning. A distributor should work with you the whole process. Because there are some deals which a good distributor can do even before you switch on your camera.
Let's appreciate him as he comes back next to me.
Well, Kenneth, how true is it that the Kenyan filmmakers who have been sleeping will show up at your door and say, I have a film to premiere in 20 days, make it work for me? And also what's your experience at Anga? What do those contracts look like, since it's not a blockbuster from Hollywood? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, good evening. Okay, so it's very true that producers show up last minute with a fixed date when they want to premiere. I think, but I have been, one who complains like him. As distributors, we are very, very emotional with what is going on in the industry because we know the budget that is in the, for example, Hollywood, we know Nollywood, we know Bollywood, the kind of money, the box office figures that are pushed there. It's really very big. I was mentioning to the panelists that Nigeria, last year, they employed 1 million people. If you go to US, the GDP, the contribution by the industry is like 4% of that, and the budget of the US. Yeah. But today, having sat with you, I have come to understand why we didn't have a film to support the cinema during COVID. When the US closed, cinemas closed over here. Yeah. What that meant is there were no local films to support the cinema. Yeah. What we watch at the cinema are local films in the US. Yeah? You get? Just figure that out. It is local films in the US. Paddington is a local film, it's partly local for Britain. And you can imagine the kind of money they're making. So when we were hit by COVID, we were desperate for local production, yeah? But we couldn't find any. So we closed. We were waiting for the US. Last year, there was a strike. It affected us. It's like cinemas are here, but they are very much in the US still. Yes? So now I have understood that people are struggling. People are, a producer is wondering how to pay, how to raise money, and, where to take the film. All I can say is I'm very happy that Angie has come in. I heard you say also you are in marketing, and I was very happy. Why? Because without executive producers, you really can't go far. What they do is that you need to empower them. Like the person to decide when to release a film should be her. Why? If you release your film on a Friday when Superman is premiering, it means there's something wrong with you. You want to compete with a big blockbuster film. You understand? But because you are doing production, discussing contracts with your crew, and sourcing, looking for funds, you can't look beyond. But the person that is seated with you is only supposed to deal with such matters. So they'll tell you, look, this film will launch on this date. So why were all of us releasing film in December? Why? Because we didn't know that this production house has a film, another production house has a film. Phil is a brand. If you compete with them, you flop. Because it's about market share. Good. So what is, we are in the same space, yeah? Suffering, seated, and then you walk in and say, can I premiere on a Friday? Do you have a trailer? No. Do you have a poster? No. What is going on? What do we put as just a marketing material within just the foyer, let alone other spaces? We didn't do a poster. The actors are not known. Because, the person who was casting didn't consider branding. So now, we all struggle and say, so who is coming? Because we can't do a distribution contract. It's now a discussion. Are you able to fill this hall? No, I'll have the crew, about 20 people. My family is coming, their wife, their nini. You get? Then we say, as a cinema, I have to pay for lamp hours, I have to pay for electricity, I have to pay for this. How much am I getting? How much are you charging? These people, they can only afford 500 shillings. If I'm to share with you a percentage, you'll end up with 200 shillings, which is 25,000. Now, there's a film run for that film. It's supposed to maybe go for 2 weeks. You can't sustain because you only have the family. They can't repeat watching. So what happens? What happens there? Yeah? There's a problem. There's a huge problem. So, and I have to watch now, and I have to compare. The marketing team, the cinema manager is there. Yes, I'm a director, but he's going to say, I have Paddington, an animation. Yes, there's this local film. Within the schedule, your peak time, around 7 p.m., I can't put in a local film. I have to schedule you between 4 p.m. when I have less traffic. Yes? Maybe I get 2 people, just 2. But, so those are the marketing issues that we have. If she comes in early, we will know that she's a marketing or co-executive producer, or Phil, another executive producer. Then we do a schedule on a Google sheet. Phil is in April. This production studio has a good feature film on this date. on this month. We don't do dates even. You can just put between week 2 of that, and then he will plan for you. Then all the cinemas will know that in Kenya, these are the number of films that are coming. Yeah? Right now, we don't know which production studio is working on something. We don't have a release schedule, what we call a CPRS. But I can tell you what is coming out in 2026 at the US. But I'm a Kenyan, and I don't know the Kenyan films that are coming out. So he's saying, somebody, amejificha mahali. Sindio? Amejificha mahali. Yeah. Yes. So who knows? But having sat here, you see, having sat here, I thought that these things can be fixed without spending money. It's just a forum like this. Let's agree who's going to be doing the release schedules. Who do you report to when you want to do a film, and when do you structure it? Then we say it's him. So the newspapers and everybody knows that this production house is doing a film. It's coming out in September. After that, on a Friday. And then we see there are gaps that are there. Let me tell you, there's what we call a cinema day, for example. A cinema day is where all producers and Kenya as a country know that each Kenyan can watch a film. In Italy, their cinema day, 181 million people watched film in 2 days. If you do that by 500 shillings, it's billions of money, Kenyan money, that we can share between producers, cinema, and every other person in Kenya that is a creative. Only 2 days. We don't need to charge much. We just say, our cinema day in Kenya is December, now that all of us were releasing in December. You get? Tuseme tu skumbili. We do screening either in schools, in every city. Yeah? And then we just take money from people's pocket. Yeah? Because we're suffering, but we've not sat together to see how we can take money from the audiences to us, and then we can now bankroll content after each Friday. So that is one problem I am having as a cinema person. Another one is the crew, I was saying. Not structured our actors, we don't know who is good in action. So every time I see a poster, nasema, hapa kuna karate. People of action, wakiona jamaa fulani, akionekana kama Kumar wa Hollywood, or Bollywood. We know hapa, if it is about Alejandro, na soap operas, we know who is our Kenyan Alejandro, so that you fight for him to sign that guy as a production house. When you sign him, because we've elevated that person, you have now the value, what he's talking about. When you have it on your poster, you know the kind of value that you're getting as a cinema, as a production house, and we move on like that. So those are just the things that us as exhibitors, we can contribute to you as creatives. Very little, but very important. Yes.
Okay, let's appreciate that answer. Now, since I saw Fakii's reaction, like, okay, sisi wote hatujui, and he even added, we are not there yet, because as you have heard from these amazing people that tutasema we're releasing December 9th, but the money coming in stops, so we have to hold. So I think it's that fear of, even us ourselves are not sure. So now that we do not have such systems in place, how can we partner with Anga? Yes, we might not be able to tell you that we're releasing a movie in Q4. Let's say maybe we've just completed. How can we be able to partner with Anga to ensure that all these films and others that are coming from the people, amazing people behind me, still get time to be seen in your cinemas? And also, as you answer that, please include what revenue share looks like at Anga with creatives.
So let me start with the revenue share. Ideally, we're not supposed to deal directly with a production house. Yeah, what is happening now is exactly the problem where you have produced and you've come with your your content, and you were saying, please, can you convert it first to? We started way back, like him, when only 2 speakers were working with your content, you know. Like, umeingiza kwa convert, but that surround is not there. Go work on your sound, go work on this. And you know, I'm not an engineer or anything, you know. I only can say, you can see, this is the problem. But what we're supposed to do is, I meet him. He's the distributor, I'm the exhibitor. He sells his product. He tells me that this product is very attractive. It's really anticipated. I'm looking at a revenue share of 55. You take 50, you 45. Or I take 55 for the first week, 50 the second week. As we go, the content slowly becomes mine because it's getting older. And the chances are that a blockbuster will come and I will remove it. So the first week, you're harvesting 55, 60, if it's a very good content, you know, something like that. Then we co-share. Basically, that is very straightforward. We send reports. You will know how many people attended, the strength of your movie, and that's how films worldwide are done. You'll be told that box office returns for Black Panther, for example, on a Monday morning. When you go, you'll find several million people watched, and these are the box office figures. The same way, if we are able to structure ourselves, if you, as an industry person, want to know what is our box office revenue per month for Kenya, you will be able to easily, because he is a distributor. If he is distributing for 4, another distributor is for 5, we will collect those, and then we will tell you 10 billion for this month, or for that. But really for now, it is sometimes, because we are a cinema that is really interested in local content. We suffered a lot, but now we want to work with you. You walk in, we look at your product, we know it's at this level, we tell you, okay, we will run it for, do only a premiere. If you are charging 1,000, maybe we take 200 or 300. You will set up maybe some carpet and you will do a very nice premiere. And the rest of the money you keep. That's how we're working now, Kienyeji way, because that's you need to promote this person also to go back with something, the full good effect, but that's not the way to go. At the moment, we just, tunakutana hapa kwa nini, tunaongea, sindio Mr. Cleo, unakam, tuna premiere, but huku nje tunalia, tunasema, kai, if it was done rightly, and Coca-Cola was on the table, Coca-Cola would say, we're ferrying students from national schools to come and watch this, fully paid. That's like 100,000 people by this amount of money. I make money, you make money, and we go, we move.
Okay. You've touched on something that has touched
Kimani's heart. So. There's this issue of film premieres. Film premieres, it has become the go-to. Everyone wants to have a wonderful film premiere, to take nice photos with celebrities who I don't think actually get to pay, but that's another story. Yeah? Oh, it's true? Yeah. Ah, fantastic. So we are connecting very well. Can you stop doing premieres? Can we actually stop doing premieres? I'll get to you. And this is the reason why. You invest so much in one-day party. You push everything you have, all your marketing and everything is geared towards one day. So what you're doing is basically a wedding WhatsApp group. Okay? On this day, we are going to come, we're going to have a wedding, we're going to have pilau, we're going to enjoy, and then we're going to go. Okay? But the business of cinema, as he mentioned, is if you take the same energy those few coins you have for marketing and actually push for a 2-week run. And remember, your marketing you started from day one when you had a script. Okay? When you're looking for casts, we stop calling our friends. We actually do real casting. And with that, that is a PR opportunity to push your film so that the people you'd want to buy tickets can already know that there's something coming. So that by the time now you're pushing your film, you're not pushing one day. You're pushing for a run. Okay? There is no guarantee in any investment. Any investment experts will tell you, there is no guarantee in any investment at all. Be it 1 billion shillings or 5 shillings. There is no one can guarantee you. All you can do is put in the fundamental work to bring in this audience. And why does this touch me so much? Because when we do premiere, we are not nurturing audience. We are setting ourselves up for failure. Feel It had a 6,000 packed premiere, made news all over. I had friends in Nigeria asking me, was it real? Send me pictures, send me videos, you know? Now, what is the expectation for the next premiere? Bigger screen? Are we now going to do a stadium for that? You know? Because the setup that you're putting, the expectation is that we have a young audience in terms of knowing that film is something that we should be consistent. If we teach them that the only day that matters for a film is the premiere, we are messed up. Okay? We have an opportunity to teach our audience to consistently visit the theater so that that person in Kisumu doesn't feel left out because all they see online are pictures of a premiere that happened in Nairobi. When you get onto the schedule, I'm working on a project, not in this country, in Nigeria. We are fighting for December 2026. Not for international films, for their local films. For this year, I think December this year is packed for their local films. They have come to understand the business of film. So we have a chance because our industry this is a time it's packing. This is a time it's packing. Let's teach people, let's teach our audience about cinema runs. So that when your movie comes out, it is not a premiere. Let's get that word out. It is a release. So that you release it across. And the good thing with Kenya is, some of our cinema companies here have cinemas in Uganda, have cinemas in TZ, they have relationships in Congo, in Zambia. Yeah? So when you do a release and you give it enough time, collect, I know the numbers of the Kenyan films, what they have made in cinema. I have the numbers. And how many people go to the cinema per year. We are always told there is no cinema culture in Kenya. That's not true. We actually do very good numbers per year in ticket sales. So me, what I would urge you, please, let's teach our audience to love cinema runs. That way, he releases in August, they release in September, they release, and it continues. Because then we have to start talking to each other. When we talk to each other, we won't have a December thing. And do you know, when did Wakanda release? Which month? February? No. Yeah? Wakanda released in February. Which other big film released in April? Okay, so there is no month you can't release. It just depends how much lead time have you given marketing to do its job. How much lead time have you given the cinema, the trailer? And the trailer, by the way, the first day of shoot, get in there. Wacha watu wagongane kama ni action film. Watu wagongane, cut a trailer, put it out. The most important thing about that trailer is to let me know that film X will be coming out on December 2025. That's it. The rest, kurukaruka, kugongana, is neither here nor there. Thank you. I've spoken too much.
Yeah. Look, just, I wanted to say, we will not change the name Premiere because, it's you also premiere on YouTube as well, yeah? Only you have given another meaning to the Premiere thing. Because somebody will say, it's premiering on Friday, can I watch it on Saturday? Yeah? So they will ask, what time is it showing on Saturday? The clients understand. Moviegoers understand. You premiere on Friday or a pre-premiere on Thursday. They can watch it on Thursday, on Friday and Saturday. Yeah? Premiering is okay, but have it such that you can find it tomorrow. I won't make it to your premiere, but I will watch it on Monday. You get? That is how it is. Personally, I would have blamed people if I didn't attend this, but because I have understood that we really are suffering, looking for funds and everything, but at the same time, I've come out with hope, knowing that, you are enrolling marketers. It doesn't matter where they have worked in, because also you yourself went into film from another space altogether, and you are to learn at the job. So let the marketers come in, let them be trained on film, because it's a product. Let them know, how can I sell and move this product, That way, another day, you'll bring in a person solely for casting, not you. Let them cast, let them be professional. Poach people who are good, from other spaces, even in Uganda, Let them do that thing. Let another person be just for graphics, because even graphics, we are poor, Those are the things we need to do. But if we do everything, and then you bring it for premiere, I'm not saying it's in bitterness, but I'm saying, because I'm seeing where we're going. Money is not going to be enough now, but that person can come in as a part-time person, and say, okay, if this is what you want, then I'm good at this, let me help you. Put me in that contract where you're saying, if we make money, you give me this much. You get? I think they will fit in.
Okay. I would definitely want to get reactions across board, yes. But I know Fakii has something he wants to say. So please, let me give you the chance to say it.
Okay. I was feeling a bit hot-blooded when he started, but now I've managed to calm down a bit. And what I'm saying, I'm not justifying anything, and I'm not excusing anything, and I agree with him. But also, coming from a producer's perspective, and I'm almost sure they will agree with me, it's not as easy as is being said, especially by the two of you. And like she had said about contracts, we are getting there. I'm sure especially Denise, because this is a conversation we had with especially Phil. When it comes to marketing, there are a lot of things that we are learning how to do. So there's a lot of trial and error that we are doing right now. And because we don't necessarily have a success story to piggyback on, we only have to, we can only talk to each other and just try and learn from each other. And I've been encouraging them just for us to have open conversations where we are able to share a bit more detail than we can. Premieres, I get your point about premieres, but I'll say two things about it. Number one, premieres worldwide, we have known them as a marketing tool. It's a major marketing tool, a premiere. And I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying. I don't want to get into the conversation about the cinema culture in Kenya, but I'll tell you this, and I'm telling you this as my own experience. We premiered Tuasanda at Prestige Cinema in November. And we had 2 days of premiere. The first day was mostly industry. The cast, crew, and supporters, and then the industry. The second day was open to the public. We had one cinema hall that we were using. Cinema seats 229 people, Prestige. So we had almost a full house for the first day. That was a Thursday. As soon as pictures hit the digital media streets about what Thursday was like, people now on the last day were now trying to buy tickets for Friday. And we had already gotten to a certain number. We got to a point where we closed off tickets for that premiere on that Friday. And in our minds, we actually, not in our minds, we actually started now giving communication to the people who are trying to buy tickets for that same Friday that we have a cinema run at Prestige right after. But then, and on the Friday itself, we had people who we froze. I think you were there on that Friday. We had people who we froze at the entrance, like we could not take any more people. There are people who, you know, the Kenyan thing of nikifika kwa gate bado naeza buy, you know. And we had to tell people we can't take you on. And the communication was very clear to them at that point, and even the cinema told them, this film is on from tomorrow. But if you look at the number of people who go after and who come for the premiere, totally different. Premiere costs them like 3 times the ticket, but they want to come for the premiere more than the actual film day. So I think there's more about not necessarily having the premiere than looking and more of looking at what is it that people are looking for. People are looking for the experience, and that is why I want to assume these guys, when they did their premiere, they created an experience where the premiere of the actual film was one of them. Because the culture of the film goers right now in Kenya, this is an assumption I'm making, is that people are looking for that experience. So people are willing to pay 2,000 bob because there'll be a red carpet and they might bump into these other guys than 500, 600, 700 bob on a day when there's no guarantee that there'll be a certain person to take photos with. So the last thing, let me just say the last thing. We need to appreciate also that where Hollywood, Bollywood, and Nollywood are, we may not see it in our time. It's the people after us who will see it. So how are we working right to enable the others to fly later on when we've left? We can't do it now. One of the things that I say is we have mean drug dealers in Kenya. Exactly. You see, guys, the music, entertainment, film industries in the US, in Nigeria, in South Africa, even music industry in Tanzania, those are largely funded by drug dealers, to be honest. But the drug dealers we have in Kenya are mean. Let me say, alleged drug dealers in Kenya are more of Shylocks. Like they're trying to give you money for you to pay them back with some exorbitant interest. While out there, that's not what they're looking for. They're looking to get their money into the streets. There are some things that sound so beautiful when we talk to each other, but they'll take time. Let me give you a very controversial one, film critics. I feel like even for film critics, we are not there yet. Because we have a bad culture of feeling like critique means I have to criticize and give a bad review. So there's a lot of people who do articles and they're always just looking for that negative thing to say, you know. And I feel like it's okay if you did that 20 years from now, not now, otherwise. And let me tell you why I say that. Because I saw this happening in the music industry. The music industry in Kenya that I have been in for so many years would have been so much further if the journalists did right with the music industry. Because what you forget is you're writing and you're writing for clicks. But then what we are trying to create as a culture, you're destroying it. So what are we doing? Where are we going?
Thank you, Fakii. A round of applause for Fakii, ladies and gentlemen. He raises a very key point on non-drug dealers, but finding financing. It's a conversation on financing and identifying high net worth individuals. So I think if we're able to look at it that way, who are the high net worth individuals in the industry, in the country that we need to talk to? But ladies and gentlemen, right now I would like to open up the conversation to everyone in the room. We have a few minutes left, but we're going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you very much, Kenneth, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause to Kenneth. There's so many hands. Let's have a minute tops, people. Introduce yourself, tell us what's on your mind and who it is directed to. Thank you. Or just a comment. All right, let's start with Nyaboke here.
It's Isaboke. Nyaboke is the feminine name of the same, but I'll excuse you because you're from across the border. We have to acknowledge the fact that hakuna studio inakuja kufunguliwa hapa watupatie budget ya $20 million kufanya movie. Hiyo ni uongo. Juu mimi nimeact for the last 12 years. I tried to start my hand in production. My goodness, So, but we still have to do it kwa sababu I can't start siwezi anza kuenda kusoma trade ingine mpya juu pia it will take me another 10 years to get there. But put me in your movies. Denise has told you Click Back made money, so it will make money. So for me, I'll always go for Gorilla, because if you study the Hong Kong film scene na Asia, Gorilla ndio ilifanya wakafika mali wako. Hata yo kubuild yo bulk ndo nkata pate movies za kucritique. Lazima tutengeneze ma movie. Na siwezi kaa hapa daily nikisema I need to raise 5 million alafu tena ndio niende nijenge movie. We have to come together. I have an understanding with all the players in the industry tuambie ndo tufike mali yenye tunaweza kamua ng'ombe, lazima tuipatie nyasi. Sawa? Like hatuwezi shinda tukikaa hapa juu tuko na internet kwa simu, unaangalia premiere za majuu, mnafikiria pia si tuko hapo. Mse tuko Africa and Ruto is our president. Sawa? So and we have such a toxic culture from broadcasting, and it's being in a trickle down. Unaona, unapata kama mimi nikiingia kwa shughuli manze nilikuwa nalipangwa dofiti, sasa inapatiagwa offer, anasema acha nikae tu home nikunywe strungi juu niko na ushago kwetu, nani ana kwao. Ikikuwa ngumu mimi ndenda ushago nilime juu mzee aliniachia shamba. Sawa? So kuna na kama hauna pole bonga na kuzo zako. So like let's call a spade. Hatuna industry, tuko na sector fulani kenye kana struggle, na to put cards zetu on the table na to have honest conversations, kwa sababu every time I create whatever it is that I create, mi ubonga nao asena nawaambia these are the facts on the table. Na hata mimi naambianga ma producer, ukiniongelesha vizuri mimi ndakupigia shughuli, lakini ukikuja na big studio energy ndakuomba big studio money, unaona. Like hiyo ni constant. So ukiniongelesha na uniambie tu this is what it is, ndaelewa. So we need to bring players, have more honest conversations like this, na tujue mali tuko honestly. Let's work on the volume. Tufike point yenye hata manze Citizen inaonyesha ma movie local bana. Juu bado wanaonyesha za Nigeria na huko ni majuu according to me. So juu kisha panda ndege ushaenda majuu. So let's be honest about it. Let's go Gorilla if we can. Gorilla tu itahitaji creativity ingine tu more kidogo ndo tutengeneze quality juu. Ni nini hatuna? Naona siku hizi set wanatumia deadly kutoka watu wanapanda wanashuka. So let's wase wenye wanatu hire out equipment. Be realistic with your rates pia bana. Cheza kiplani juu mtu ametoka chuo. Unataka umpatie rate yenye unarentisha equipment, watu wanafanya advert tuko scanner. Unataka unirentishe equipment your design. Like I work na naelewa pia wengi ni ma businessmen, like they're not creative, so they don't understand the nitty-gritties of whatever it is yenye zinaendelea. Na tunafaa pia wao tuwaropin kwa hiyo conversation. Pia wakage wakijua. Jua tuwezi shinda tukiambiwa tengenezeni ma movie na masimu. Bana tunajaribu compete na kamera ilitengenezwa shoot movie. Simu ni ya kupiga. Naelewa tunaweza TikTok and everything. It's okay, but if I want to take my movie to anga, wananiambianga stories za aspect ratio, sijui nini. Shoot na simu sijui itakuja design flani. So tuongeleshane, tuende hata kama utakast nyanya yako manze, hata kama yani do the most manze. Let's have hours, let's have volume. Ndio alafu pia tuongeleshe gatekeeper poa, wapatie watu wengine pia opportunity. Juu manze tuko na ma creator wa deadly and we see the same generic shows on TV. I'm an actor. Sometimes I take these roles due taxes don't care, my bills don't care, and I have to do these shows. Sometimes you're like, hey, yeah, I just gotta do this. But we know better writers, we know better directors, we know better producers out here who are doing kazi yenye ikipata chance ya kukua hapo kwa hiyo platform inaweza kuwa deadly. So nyinyi ma broadcaster ni nyinyi naongelesha. Like chezeni fair. Najua fair ni fair ina existingi kwa utopia, but jaribini kubalance hiyo playing field. Ndo pia we have film students coming out of film school na wanakuja kwa hii space. So yeah, tusikue na big studio energy jubado. Let's do Gorilla as much as we can, have honest conversations and just make sure we keep doing what we are doing. So kabisa yoba. Unaona story ya drug dealers? Hao wase wako na pharmacy like yani fiti na but huyo alikuwa George alikuwa anasema come piga picha na celebrities nini and all that. Hollywood has grown because of celebrity culture. We have to sell celebrities. Ndio mtu akisema Isaboke yako wanasemanga hivyo. Isaboke yako kwa movie na kama kuicheki. We have to sell celebrities, in turn they sell movies. It's a no-brainer. Shosho yenu naelewa shosho yenu anaweza kuwa na 150 grandkids, but wakikamera ni ya kwanza au wengine utawatoa wapi? So like let's embrace it. Hollywood walisha invent wheel. Amwezi walisha invent. Reinventing it is atuwezi. So template iko. Copy paste.
Hello, my name is Kelvin Oso. I am a filmmaker and also a film consultant. And the honest conversation has started, which is what we need as an industry. First, we need systems that work for us. Hatuna systems. Tunatry copy paste Hollywood, Bollywood, Nollywood. We should understand that Hollywood created a system that works for Americans. Bollywood created a system that works for Indians. As Kenyans, as Africans, tuna need system yetu. Isaboke has spoken about volumes. Nigeria went gorilla. Sai, they can't be ignored. If you look at the highest grossing film in Nigeria, Everybody Loves Jennifer. Sai ndo imecross $1 million. And I mean, for them it was volumes. Mpaka Kenya, amesema tuna watch movies in Nigeria during prime time, right? So the other thing is that without systems, producers will always deal with speed of light issue. I mean, tuna battle kusurvive. Kila mtu hapa ameanza conversation na it's madness. It's madness. But the real thing is we don't have systems that we don't understand. You need to hire professionals. You don't need to be worried about marketing as a producer. You need to hire someone who understands marketing. On set, you need to employ a lawyer. You can't be drafting your own contracts. You need an accountant to make sure your money is right, na mneza hata file taxes, right? So I think it goes back to the basics. We need to create a system. Thank you.